Welcome to the Make Vegas Pay podcast presented by MVP Consulting. It's Wednesday, February 8th, and we are going to talk about the Super Bowl. The MVP guys have a couple leans, a couple Super Bowl stories here. We have Slice and Blay to break down everything, including Matt, RBB Matt himself. We're also going to do a little college basketball March Madness preview, and we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA. LeBron, it broke Kareem's record. He's the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. So let's start there. 38 years that record has stood. LeBron is 38 years old. He scored 38 points last night to score 38,388 points there, fellas. Big record. What were your thoughts when you guys were watching that?
He's my favorite player, so I was excited to see him break the record. It was kind of emotional because I've been 2003. I was like 10 years old, so he's. I don't know if he's the GOAT, but he's had a hell of a career. He's still playing at a very high level. Really liked the job the NBA did with the ceremony and having Kareem there. And I'm a bigger fan of the NFL than the NBA, but I think they did a great job last night, and he had another typical, LeBron game. So love to see it, and I'm excited to see him, play a few more years here.
I don't think anyone's gonna break his record. Like was the record that always stood. I think LeBron is the record that will always stand, and I don't think anyone's ever gonna break it. Because he's still averaging close to 30 points a game. He's 38 years old, 37.
Yeah, well, it's also the durability thing, right? Like you got to be durable enough to play that long. I mean, it may happen, at some point as medicine and health of players is like easier over time, but
Yeah, I mean, LeBron had a crazy game last night. 20 points in the first half. He only needed 16 points in the second half and got that all in the third quarter there. And watching the ceremony, they left 10 seconds at the end of the third quarter for Adam Silver to just go up there, interview him mid third quarter with 10 seconds left. All the cameras were flashing on him, had a little photo shoot saying what's up to all the homies. And then they finished the third quarter, and then we have to wait a little bit longer. So they could have done a little bit better on that timing there. But a great record, and I think he'll break 40,000. What do you guys think?
yeah, he's gonna stay till his son comes, I think.
Most definitely. I mean, he could be
Absolutely.
3 years from now averaging like 18 points a game. He's that good.
It's solid. And Matt, what were your thoughts watching that game? If you
No,
watched it or you just got the news?
no, I did watch it. I mean, I'm a big sports fan. I'm not going to miss that, even though I'm not the biggest NBA fan. No, it's great. I mean, it's awesome. You love to see, records like that be broken. Well, the ones that you think never will be broken. It's always cool to watch them get shattered by the best of the best. LeBron ruined my childhood being a Celtics fan year after year. So I have, bias that way, but unbelievable player, one of the greatest of all time. I'm not going to get into the GOAT talk, but hands down, it's awesome to be able to watch him play.
He's had the best basketball
Well,
career, I believe. If maybe you don't think he's the GOAT for whoever thinks Jordan's still the GOAT, but he's had the best career out of anyone. He could probably be the best at anything. He could guard 1 through 5 in his prime. He could shoot 40% from 3 if he really wanted to. Elite passer, top 5 passer in the league every year he's been in the league. Elite rebounder for his position. LeBron is the most well-rounded, best career ever. He may not be the GOAT. You might not think he's the GOAT, but he did have the best career. And he's continuing to have the best career. He's still playing at a high level, which is insane.
I like that. I like that. That's a good explanation for it.
yeah, so Blaze essentially saying, he's not the GOAT because that's going to go to Jordan, I'd assume. But he might be the boat, the best of all time, to really just do it all well
Well, the
rounded.
GOAT conversation
Uh,
is a whole nother long discussion, which we don't need to get into today.
We
But
we need to start the boat. There's the GOAT and there's the boat of every sport. I like that. That's a phrase
goat and the boat. I
that
like
Drace
it.
just coined. LeBron is the boat.
all right, so LeBron's the boat there. Jordan's the GOAT. Maybe we'll continue this conversation going on. I know Swice does not seem like he wants to get into this. So how about getting into Kyrie to the Mavs? Everyone's talking about Kyrie being this toxic player. Everyone thought he was going to go to LA, you know, but then the Mavs snuck in there with that trade. When that trade hit, I'm like, you know what? The Mavs are title contenders. What do you guys think?
I think the West is very old and injured right now. The Suns and the Warriors are old and banged up. The Warriors should be the favorites if they go into the playoffs healthy. The Nuggets look great. The Nuggets are really the only real team in the West right now. The Grizzlies, with the off-the-court antics, and I think they're a little youthful, and they kind of are a little bit full of themselves, but they're the most talented, I think. But the Nuggets are playing the best. The Warriors and Suns are the teams that you would think going into the season, okay, one of those teams is going to make it, especially if the Suns were somehow able to get Kevin Durant, which is still a possibility, I think. But the West is really wide open, and Luka is, I think, the best player in the NBA right now. He's not the most well-rounded, but he's the best offensive player in the league, and he's one of the best offensive players ever already at this young of age. I mean, the man is an animal. So the problem with this trade is it doesn't solve any of Dallas's issues. They lose Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a good wing defender, and they get a ball-dominant scorer when they already have that in Luka. I don't see the benefit to having two of those. We have Westbrook in L.A., who hasn't worked out, who's a ball-dominant player with LeBron. This historically doesn't work out. Like, they're unguardable. Like, Kyrie might be the most unguardable point guard in the league with Luka, who's also unguardable. But they have absolutely no defense. Christian Wood is banged up. And in the playoffs, scoring slows down as defense tightens up. So I think out of sheer injuries in the West and how bad the West is right now, maybe it will propel the Mavs to the championship game or to the conference finals. That's possibility. But I don't like the move. I don't think it's a good move for Dallas.
Yeah, they were in the West Finals last year. They need a wing guy. Kyrie's also been on his last three teams saying he's going to stay for a while and then doesn't. He's got a lot of attitude problems, locker room potential issues there. Yeah, they're not solving their wing problem. I don't even think they make the conference finals with him. Yeah, he can score. I don't think scoring was their issue necessarily last year. They blew out the Suns in that game. I think it's going to be more of a headache than anything. Hopefully he doesn't screw up like Luka in the short term in his game and his like attitude in the locker room. I don't think it will. There's a possibility though with the way Kyrie is. But yeah, Mark Cuban taking a swing. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't see him staying there more than 2 years based off of his track record with Boston and Brooklyn.
So look at this package that the Mavs, I think the league has adjusted to Kyrie's antics. This is not a very impressive package for Kyrie Irving. They gave Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a solid, serviceable guard who, can get you 15 points a game, play decent defense. They gave up Dorian Finney-Smith, who's like a role player / wing defender who can shoot a little bit, and they gave up 2 second-round picks and an unprotected first. And they got Kyrie and Markieff Morris. So that is not a very impressive trade package for a guy like Kyrie Irving. So I think the league has adjusted to say, hey, we're not going to give up this massive package for a guy who's not even going to fucking stay. There's no guarantee Kyrie's even going to be on Dallas next year. Like, I don't get the move. I don't. That's not even a player I would want in my locker room. Like, I just think
Dinwiddie's averaging 17 or 18 points and 5 assists. Like, that's not shabby at all.
Dinwiddie's a good player, but like, what does Kyrie do for this team? What are they 4 points a game better offensively? But they're so much worse defensively, and they're not good on the perimeter. They have no big men. They should have used Porzingis better and kept Porzingis. They have Christian Wood. He's banged up. But they don't have a center, and I would have liked to have seen them make a move for like the Mitchell Robinson from the Knicks, or they should have went and got Gobert last year, or a Karl Anthony Towns. Like, they need to make a splash trade like that. They need a big man who can help them in the playoffs.
I mean, they're not going to do it, but if they had Durant, it's a much better fit there.
Yeah, I would have much rather have had Kevin Durant, who's probably going to leave the Nets too. So
he's like 35.
The haul for KD would have been much more than this, though.
But the championship winning potential.
Oh, absolutely. They're not winning a title with Kyrie Irving. That's not going to happen. But they're so good offensively. They're going to probably make a run in the playoffs, but they're going to run into a team that's disciplined, like Golden State, like a Denver, and it's going to show that 2 ball dominant guards who can shoot are not what historically wins in the playoffs. It's about defense, rebounding, and attacking the inside. But this officially, I think, kills the Lakers championship window. Because if you're able to dump Westbrook, who's played terrible this year, and his entire time in LA he's played terrible, if you're able to dump him for Kyrie, and now you have Kyrie, AD, and LeBron, that's a team. Now that's a team that in this Western Conference could have made a run. But now that they don't get Kyrie Irving, You got to put water on the Lakers right now. Lakers, that just killed their title chances this year. I don't see them pulling off a trade for anyone that's of Kyrie's caliber or better. And I think that was their ticket to get themselves back in the championship conversation, was trading for Kyrie. They're unable to do that. So,
And actually, I just looked it up. Dallas is 23rd in the league in overall scoring at 112 a game. So the NBA scoring is ridiculous now. But point being, I mean, it'll help them offensively. But again, the game slows down in the playoffs.
Yep.
So don't necessarily think that the scoring at number 23 in the league, which is honestly shocking, is that big of a deal.
and anyone listening is going to say, oh, look at the Warriors. Look at the Warriors. Yeah, the Warriors play elite defense. Look at the Celtics. Look at the Celtics. Yeah, the Celtics play elite defense. They are very good offensively. They're also just as good defensively. Like, the Warriors are elite on both ends of the floor. So are the Celtics. So you have to be well-rounded. You're not going to be a one-dimensional team and go win a championship or even make a deep run. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavericks lost in the first or second round if they ran into the wrong team. Very possible.
Yeah, even after making the Western Conference Finals the year before. And to have Kyrie and Luka, that's probably the best backcourt in the NBA right now, currently.
100%.
But you're right, it's going to come down to defense and being well-rounded. I don't see Kyrie and Luka playing defense on every single possession down the floor. They're just going to play offense, take a couple breaks on defense, and just go back and forth in that half-court set when it slows down in the playoffs.
How do they?
But again, you're totally right.
How do they beat the Clippers? Because Luka's been playing point guard. I guess you're going to put Kyrie Irving at shooting guard. How in the world do you beat the Clippers in the playoffs when you have Paul George and Kawhi, who are elite? Paul George is elite perimeter defender. This was not the right move in my opinion. It gives them like offensively easily the best backcourt. Like Kyrie and Luka, that is insane, unfair. But it creates like a matchup.
Well, what problems did it solve from when they played the Warriors last year and lost in 5? Like, I don't think it solves any of the problems.
It gives them a shooting boost. So, like, when Curry gets hot and, they've been – Luka, you see he's not like this. He's not like – people they compare him to LeBron a little bit. But he's not – Luka is not this, like, super in-shape guy who's going to play both ends of the floor. So that gives them, like, a second punch. When Luka scored 20 points in the first 3 quarters and he's tired, you got Kyrie who can come in and make big shots. The problem is Kyrie is not a good defender. And so if you have Kyrie on the floor at the 2 guard position and they're playing a team like the Clippers or a team like the Suns that have Devin Booker, that is a matchup nightmare. That's not a good matchup for them.
Yeah, so it looks like the West has become stacked. The Lakers championship window is essentially closed with that trade deal. I want to hear from Matt real quick. Blaze said it right now. They're not going to win a championship with Kyrie. Do you agree with Blay or do you think otherwise?
No, absolutely. I agree. I don't think there's any chance in hell that this Mavs team makes a deep run in the playoffs one bit. I think Blay and Swice kind of hit everything on the head.
Yeah.
Like Simon said, this doesn't fix any of their immediate issues. It gives them, I guess like a short-term success, but by no means do I think that this addition of Kyrie is going to be the piece that sets them above anybody else in the West.
I mean, look at this from last year. Crazy. Game 7, Mavs Suns, that blowout game that was, like, we were all surprised, right? Spencer Dinwiddie put up 30 in a Game 7. Dude, is Kyrie solved, like, putting up 30? Yeah. That's not their issue. So seeing this is, like, crazy stat to
Dinwiddie's a better defender. Dinwiddie's a better passer. Dinwiddie's a team guy. I don't know about trading Spencer Dinwiddie.
And honestly, the team guy is the most important thing because we've seen Kyrie, like Simon said, just kill numerous teams
I'm actually
in about a 2-year stretch.
Dinwiddie back with my Brooklyn Nets, my childhood team here. He's the man. I remember him before he was on Dallas with the Nets. He was great.
He's a solid player. I think, but yeah, like I said, to kind of wrap this up, I think the Clippers are the team in the West. Nobody's talking about the Clippers right now. The Clippers are good. They trade for a Bojan Bogdanovic, another guy, another wing scorer. Clippers are deadly. I love the Clippers this year.
All right, so to wrap this up right now, let's take a look at this Kyrie trade, and let's just grade it, on a grade sheet right now. I'm looking at this trade for the Brooklyn Nets. Since they got rid of all the troubles that came with Kyrie, they're going to get an A- here for taking Kyrie just out of this situation, not having to deal with that BS anymore. And then I think the Mavericks here get a little bit of a B minus. They still pick up a superstar in Kyrie. Mark Cuban's the type of owner to really kind of wine and dine some of his players, getting them on private jets and et cetera, making them feel welcomed. So I think that works out. But just overall, you're right. The price for Kyrie has dropped. But I got Brooklyn Nets, A minus for getting rid of Kyrie. Dallas Mavericks get a B minus here. Blay, what you thinking here for a grade?
I've got to give the Nets in the short term a D plus. I just don't think the haul they got for that caliber of a player is good. Yes, he forced their hand and the NBA trade market's adjusted, but that's not a good enough haul for a guy like Kyrie. In the long term, I'm going to give them an A minus because they're getting a toxic poison out of their locker room, and it kind of allows them to start to rebuild, which is what they should start doing. I'm going to give the Mavs in the short term a B plus. This does solve a few of their offensive issues. It gives them a second scoring option that's reliable, who's been in big games, who's hit big shots. In Kyrie Irving, elite ball handler, maybe the best ball handler of all time. But in the long term, I'm actually going to give the Mavs a C minus because I don't think what's the long term play here? You think Kyrie? You can't look at Kyrie's career thus far and say, oh, Kyrie's found his team in Dallas. No, it's C minus. They're going to get him for a year, maybe two. He's going to do what he always does. He's going to score. He's going to miss a lot of games because he misses a lot of games. I don't think Mark Cuban's the kind of owner that's going to stand for that shit. And in a year and a half's time, we're going to talk about Kyrie Irving getting traded to maybe to the Lakers. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. In terms of the Nets, I'll give them a B plus. They got rid of Kyrie, but as Blaze said, they got Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. I think they could have got some more draft picks, to be honest. I think they kind of did not a great job of there. That probably would have put them to A minus for me. And then Dallas, I'll give them a B minus. They got the superstar. I don't think it solves their short-term problems. It's worth a shot if they're going to try this for 1 year, and then they can try to get a wing guy afterwards. But yeah, B minus and B plus.
They don't even get Claxton, who's playing well, the center for the Nets, who's playing well.
Now Cam Thomas has been going off.
Yeah, he looks great. They could have gotten Claxton, who's good rebounder, good defender. He literally is what the Mavericks need. They should have done something to get Claxton in this trade. Maybe the Nets don't want to move him because they see how well he's been playing, but not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, the Nets got a nice young core there with Claxton and Thomas. We'll see how well they do. Matt, give us your grades for this trade here.
I'm going to be pretty much on par with what they've said for the most part. I'm giving the Nets just like a solid B. I agree with Simon. I think the draft picks could have been more so in terms of the whole. But getting rid of that cancer is massive. I mean, Kyrie is detrimental to teams' locker rooms. So getting rid of him, huge. That pretty much saves them from being anywhere lower than a B. The Mavs, C plus, B minus, that range. Same thing that the other two guys have said. It fixes short term, but I don't think this gets them any further in the playoffs than they already would have gotten without Kyrie.
100%.
There you go. There you have it. That is NBA talk with MVP Consulting here. Let's move on to a little bit of college basketball. Let's do an early March Madness preview. It's the February 8th right now. So we have a couple weeks until then. I'm looking at the AP ranks right now, and the top four colleges right now in terms of college basketball are Purdue at number 1, Houston at number 2.
Brandon's favorite team here.
Fuck you, Purdue.
Alabama at number 3, and Arizona at number 4, followed by Texas at 5. Hook 'em. Now, taking a look at some of the odds for some of these teams to win the national championship, I'll read through some of the kind of top odds here, but the odds-on favorite to win the national championship is Houston at plus 650, and all these odds are provided by FanDuel. Purdue at plus 800, Arizona at plus 1,000, Alabama at plus 1,000,
they win
and then
enough.
Kansas. Yeah, and then Kansas that's at plus 1,200, and they won last year too. So let's get into a little bit of this college basketball talk. When you see some of those odds, when you see some of those rankings, just what goes through your head right now? There's a lot of parity in the sport of college basketball this year.
So much parity. You got me excited talking about March Madness because there's a lot of teams right now that are perceived as being good teams, and then they're going to lose in the first, the round of 32, whatever, the first or second round. There's teams like Maryland, Virginia, I think Gonzaga, Purdue is one of them. I don't know if Purdue even makes it past the Elite Eight. Like, I don't think they're that good of a team. Houston being the favorite to win it all makes sense. I think they're the best team in college basketball. But I think the thing that excites me is you're going to see some of these teams who are really a lot better than they've been playing, like Kansas, like North Carolina, like Duke. You're going to see these teams that have great historical coaching, great fundamentals, and they're going to go in and they're going to beat some teams that you know they're going to be huge dogs. Like if hypothetically Virginia played North Carolina in the first round, you're probably going to be able to get North Carolina at like plus 170, plus 180, plus 200. I would lay that all day.
Well, it also depends how they play in their conference tournaments as well. I think that'll be a big point as well.
Yeah, the college basketball has been weird this year. Like North Carolina comes in preseason number 1, and they've been terrible. Duke has not been good. Kentucky has been fucking terrible, including last night. Thank you, Kentucky, for losing me a couple bets. Gonzaga has been disappointing. It's weird. Like it's a weird college. Ohio State has been awful. Michigan hasn't been good. Like it's a weird college basketball season, man. Weird.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, I love March Madness. That's my second biggest betting time personally, outside the NFL. Tons of dogs, as Blaze been saying here. Starting to pick up the watching of the sport, but yeah, there's been a lot of parity. I know Purdue has screwed Brandon over a few times here. But I was watching Duke UNC the other day, and I'm like, UNC, even if they're like a 10 or 11 seed, that's a team that can go to the Elite Eight based off their experience and coaching.
100%.
Some of these teams that have worse records that have the experience and the coaching will play a big role in there. But yeah, dogs are going to be barking in March Madness. It's a great time to hedge and live bet. So very excited. We'll talk more about it as tournament comes along. But between then and the Super Bowl, really going to gear up and start following the sport more so to see, what we're going to do here for March Madness.
You got to search for that small school team. That's
like St. Peter's.
Yeah, you got to find someone that's maybe they're ranked this year, because there's a lot of teams that are ranked that aren't normally ranked, and you ride them, and like these teams are going far. There's some good teams. St. Mary's has been very good this year. If they go to the Sweet 16, they're going to be dogs probably in their first 2 games. I like St. Mary's, depending on who they're playing, of course. But there's a lot of teams that it's going to be very profitable if you're able to find 3 or 4 teams that people aren't paying attention to now, and then when you get to the tournament, it's like, oh, this team's actually pretty good. Like North Carolina, perfect example. They will turn it on. North Carolina's been bad, but they have Baycott, they have R.J. Davis, they have Caleb Love. They have talent, and they literally were just in the national championship game.
They'll be fun.
Yeah, if you're looking for a team to bet early in the conference or the tournament, I would look at teams like North Carolina, like historically good teams that have underperformed this year so far.
I'm already looking at 15 seeds for the March Madness predictions. Princeton's in here, Vermont, Eastern Washington. Colgate is a 14 seed. Like, these are teams we've seen in the tournament do well, and with all the parity, depending on the matchup, not 16 seeds, but 15, 14, 13. Like, we're going to be there when the dogs are barking, so stay tuned for our picks for that. Really excited to, get those picks out for you guys. But it's a while, but
I mean, if you just blindly bet every underdog in the tournament last year, you were what, plus?
I don't know what
$100. You were up 13 units.
It was $100. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
1,300.
13 units if you're $100 better. You net 13 units in the span of what, a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, also you
Incredible.
can, for a 16 seed, you can risk less with the return higher. So there's ways to do that, and I'll probably look into that, actually. It's a good point.
So easy. Identify your 14, 15, 16 seed that you think, or 14, 15 seed.
Or just take all of them at whatever, plus 800,
exactly.
whatever the other.
But let's say, I mean, this is the easiest time, I think, in sports to make money. You take a huge dog pregame, and then you wait. And if it's now the books are gonna adjust live. They depending on what book you're on. But if they go on like a 16-4 run, you can immediately lay your money down on that favorite at the same odds you bet the fucking underdog at. So you're really protecting yourself. And then if you want to go a step further and you're really confident in the dog, maybe at halftime or 5 minutes left in the game, the dog is up 10. You can get the favorite at like plus 800 just to protect yourself. And that's really a sweat-free way to make a lot of money.
Well, you could also just middle it, right? Let's say I took a team at plus 800 or 1,000, 100 to win 800, and then we get, let's say, Kentucky to even, at plus 100. So I'm taking like $400 or $500, and worst case, I'm up money as your unit size goes up. But that's just the basic example. But a lot of situations to hedge middle here and live betting, these teams, especially a favorite, as you said, getting down and be able to get them at plus odds, especially the bigger ones.
Yeah. Like, let's say, if Houston goes down, let's say you like Houston, first game of the tournament. They're minus 260 pregame, and you really like Houston. Obviously, you're going to like Houston. They're probably going to win the game. They go down, 17-10 early. You're able to get that money line at minus 160, minus 150. So it's just shaving value. You're shaving points, a shitload of points. You can save yourself 100 points on the money line just by waiting 2 minutes and seeing what happens. And then over the course of the game, it corrects itself. Houston's clearly going to be a better basketball team than who they're playing in the first round. No matter what the first 5 minutes looks like, it might look ugly, but you can get a lot of value live betting. And you can also you can look, we're not huge fans of parlays here, but you can historically look at trends. When has the number one seed lost in the first round?
Yeah, we'll have all that. Yeah, I've been doing this for a bit with the March Madness.
You parlay all four teams, all four number one seeds in the very first round of the tournament. Very likely you're going to cash that.
Yeah, and another thing, last thing here, we're talking about taking money line, but also if Houston goes down big in even the second round or Elite Eight or whatever, and you can get them at +6 or +8 or +10. You don't have to necessarily take the money line, but if they were -4 and it gets to +8, that's a lot of points in these games that get tight, especially with the defenses. So looking to target some spreads too.
So glad you brought that up. Last night, we're looking at Marquette getting waxed by UConn. We're looking at UNC getting waxed by Wake Forest. I get Marquette at +17.5, and I get UNC at +15.5. Now Marquette was a little bit of a sweat, but they both cashed. Carolina easily cashed. You can get some of these spreads at insane numbers live betting with basketball.
Blay, what do you have to say? My bad, James.
Go ahead.
Real quick, Blay. I want your take, big college guy, on how bad of a time it must be to be an Alabama hater right now. Because you're not only getting dogged in football like you do every year, you're getting them at the number 3 spot too.
Alabama looks good, man. They're
real good.
They're a dark horse Final Four team. They look
real
good.
Really good. I love Bama this year.
They look good, man. They look really good. I learned my lesson when I took Mississippi State against them. And Mississippi, that was a trap game with Mississippi State. Probably, the books hedging that Bama was going to go into Mississippi State and lose, and no, Bama's the real deal. I think they're good this year. But Bama's good at fucking everything. They've got those Southern athletes, so they're always going to be good.
Yeah, Bama definitely knows how to recruit. For football and for college basketball.
Yeah, they got one of the starting.
And I think you guys are right
here. Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. You're looking at March Madness. We still have to wait for all the conference championships to come through. And with all this parity, we're going to find a lot of value on some of these dogs. Some of these blue blood programs that are going to go into March Madness there's going to be a lot of value behind them. They're going to come in at plus odds. I feel like some of them will, just based off of how the NCAA and the committee is going to seed them. But again, we have a lot of time between now and then the conference championships will really shake down where all these teams lie. But
yeah, who's going to
get
hot?
If you're talking about Alabama as the dark horse there to make the Final Four, I completely agree with you and back you there.
Very good. Yeah, you look at some of these teams like Maryland, Virginia, these teams that, they can get hot from three-point land. They're not necessarily great inside. You can find some very favorable matchups. You find a team like UNC that's got a great big man in Baycott, and they're going into the tournament against a team that's a streaky, perimeter shooting team. That's a good matchup. Even if they're the dog, that's a good matchup because it's all about the key metrics of basketball, people. If you're getting offensive rebounds at a high rate, you're going to win. That's the second most important stat when you're looking at betting on college basketball is offensive rebounding. Offensive rebounding is very important. And when you have a team that loves to shoot from the outside, they're going to miss a lot of shots. And when you have a team that can dominate inside and get a lot of rebounds, that's a nightmare matchup for the other side.
So that pretty much just covers a little bit of a preview of March Madness. We're going to get into lines and a little bit deeper into the conversation in coming weeks as we get closer to Selection Sunday. before we continue here, you are listening to the Make Vegas Pay podcast presented by MVP Consulting. If you want to join the sports betting conversation, join our Telegram. Link will be in the description. And also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter with the handle Make Vegas Pay. So we just finished our college basketball March Madness early preview today. Let's get into a little bit of Super Bowl talk. But before we do, let's talk about our thoughts from the Pro Bowl. It was flag football this year. It's just kind of turning into, a little fun weekend. It really means nothing now. It's like you become a Pro Bowler, you just show up and you have some fun, you get a couple drinks, and then you leave that weekend. But I don't think the fans are really impressed. What were you guys thinking about the Pro Bowl this year? All the changes too.
Successfully made the NFL Pro Bowl into the NBA All-Star game. A game that means nothing. There's no defense. I mean, for Jalen Ramsey, there was. Everybody see the clip where he leveled Tyreek Hill in a flag football game? That was nuts.
Yeah, I saw that.
But, yeah, it's a joke. I mean, it's not worth watching. You want to go watch an All-Star game? Go watch the MLB All-Star game. Nobody gives a shit about baseball anymore, but the reason we love the MLB All-Star game is there's incentives. It's who gets home field advantage in the World Series. Like, there's a reason to play.
Well, that's the one thing they got going for them.
Exactly. So. There's a reason to watch. Like in the NFL, this is a popularity contest. You have people not making the Pro Bowl. Tyler Huntley was in the Pro Bowl. What are we doing? You have people opting out of the Pro Bowl. It's embarrassing. It's not fun to watch. I remember when I was a kid watching fucking Ray Lewis and Ed Reed just level punters and kickers in the Pro Bowl. That was when the Pro Bowl was awesome. I know there's injury concerns. And with the amount of money that these players are making now, there's really no reason to hurt yourself or risk getting hurt. But, man, the Pro Bowl used to be so awesome, and now it sucks.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't watch it. I mean, I've been watching every single Sunday since Labor Day, so needed a break. Don't really give a shit. NFL does great with almost everything, except for this is really their, whatever. It's fine if they do the events. They can broadcast it. They know the ratings aren't going to be there. The people who go probably have fun. I mean, I'd love to go. But not much to say here. Like, whatever. Move on.
I'd rather watch a WNBA game than the NFL Pro Bowl.
And it's the week between the Super Bowl and the championships, and it's like we're all exhausted from watching all this football. I don't want to watch this bullshit now on a Sunday when I can have a day off.
There weren't even linemen, right? I didn't watch it either.
No, there was no blocking.
There's no linemen.
I mean, if me and you aren't watching, who the fuck is watching? We watched every game this year. Like, it's so stupid.
Imagine being an all-pro who makes it to the Pro Bowl. You're a right guard, or you're Aaron Donald, and you work your ass off all year long, and you don't even get to play in the Pro Bowl. Like that people, I want to see quarterbacks get wrecked in the Pro Bowl. I want to see the best pass rushers. I want to see T.J. Watt going against the best left tackle, right tackle.
They should go back to Hawaii.
Where was it even at? I don't even know where it was.
It was in Vegas, right?
It was in L.A., wasn't it?
It was in Vegas, I think.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, this year it was in Vegas. It used to be in Hawaii. But I think you guys are right. Like, they should do a little bit more with it. They used to have all the linemen, all the all-pro linemen go in there and just start hucking 225 as many times as they could.
That's like
or they
cool
used to have
shit.
all the quarterbacks. They used to have all the quarterbacks go in there and just see how far they could throw it down the field. That's like sick. Like, they won't get injured, but like that's a fun event. Instead, now I'm just watching them hit a balloon that's hanging from a drone or just missing everything because they are a little hungover from the night before.
I mean,
but yeah, I think you guys are right. It's
popped
done.
into my head. I was just like, yeah, I remember when they used to have like the lingerie football league on fucking TV. Like, get the chicks out there. Fuck, they even showing the guys.
Let's have a cheerleader.
Yeah, like, this is so fucking
Speaking
stupid.
of hungover, not to deviate, I just want to talk about this for like 2 seconds. How about Georgia quarterback
Stetson Bennett
getting
who's
arrested?
like 5 years old.
He said, "I'm gonna skip the big showcase game to affect my draft stock. You're already 25 years old and undersized, so you're probably not going to get drafted very high." And he skips, the big showcase game to go show people how good he is to get ready for the NFL draft, and then proceeds to get arrested for drunken misconduct. So I just thought that was fun to mention.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, all the Johnny Manziel memes came back after that, or Baker Mayfield too. But let's move along here into the Super Bowl. I got a question for you guys. So last week, the get-in price to the Super Bowl in State Farm Stadium was $5,562 per ticket. This was last week, February 1st. This week, how much do you think the get-in price is for one ticket to get into the Super Bowl?
I'm going 9,000.
I don't know, 500 more maybe. I don't think it changed that much.
9,000. What you got, Matt?
I honestly don't know. Maybe 5,000, 6,000.
Yeah. So the get-in price to get into the Super Bowl right now, a week later after last week, is $4,445.
Oh, it
So the
dropped.
price went down by
We were
about
all wrong.
$1,100 there.
I mean,
Kind of crazy when you look at
it's
that.
expensive as heck. I mean, yeah, that is crazy that it went down that much. That's a big.
I'll tell you
percentage.
what. To a truck driver, in Philadelphia, who makes I don't know $60,000-$70,000 a year, a blue collar guy, he don't give a shit. He's going to that game.
Oh yeah,
Philly fans are going to show up. You lower the prices, and them Philly fans.
I mean,
are
they're
gonna show
both
up.
diehard fans, like two of the best home fields
Oh,
in the
yeah.
league. So hopefully we get. I mean, there's a lot of corporate people there, but hopefully we get some good, fan turnout, which I think we will.
I think we will. Yeah, Philadelphia, their fans, love them or hate them. I kind of love them, as crazy as they are. Philly
They are
fans,
not nice people.
They're going to show up. And then Missouri's got a lot of white collar guys. They're gonna show up for their team. They love their football. They love drinking beer. So two great fan bases. I think this is gonna be great.
Yeah, and they also have the Waste Management Open, the Phoenix
Yes,
Open
I
there
have been to
at
that. It
the
is-
same weekend.
Why does that sound like something from The Sopranos?
It is a fucking time. Great time. I don't know. It's kind of weird that they do it Super Bowl weekend, but Waste Management. Gotta love it. It's just girls and golf and nice weather in February, so can't complain.
Big Dick Rick, baby. Big Dick Rick.
All right, so before we get into some of our leans for the Super Bowl and get into some of the serious bets that we might make here, I want to talk about some of these exotic prop bets that we have for this game right now. Let's start with the national anthem. I think the over-under is at 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And who's singing the national anthem again?
Chris Stapleton. I was just looking into these actually all week because they're so funny. Who's never sung a national anthem before anywhere, which is fucking crazy.
I don't even know who Chris Stapleton is.
He's a country guy.
music singer.
Yeah.
You've heard it. You've heard Tennessee whiskey, boy. You had to.
Yeah, you've probably heard age.
These props make me laugh. It's like what's the coin flip gonna be? What color's the fucking Gatorade? I'm like, imagine if, dude, they're taking prop bets on Jackson Mahomes' over/under TikToks made during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's insane.
I can't
That's
believe
wild.
they're taking bet like from a legality logistics standpoint. How are they taking bets on like certain things that like I don't know what insider trading is in sports betting. I don't even know if that's a thing. But if you're Jackson Mahomes and you can go on fucking some offshore or FanDuel and bet how many TikToks you're gonna make, like. I think that's crazy that some books are taking action on some of this stuff because it seems like it's so easily influenced.
I mean, yeah, the inner circle also will know Rihanna's first song, the guest. Like, there's more people than we think that know this stuff, and I'm sure there's some people that are betting on it.
They're laying, bro. They're laying parlays with Jackson Mahomes' TikToks, followed by Rihanna's fucking first song, all that shit. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, the odds are crazy.
It's
I
going
love
to be
it.
really wild. It's going to be really wild. So I'm just thinking, let's all make some exotic prop picks right now, like little fast rounds, little over-unders, little heads or tails. Let's go through them right now. So Chris Stapleton, national anthem, over-under 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Blake, what do you got? The over-under there.
I don't even know. I don't even know how long the national anthem is. That's probably
Was
terrible.
it 2 minutes?
Is
that what the
2
line
minutes and
said
2
out there?
seconds.
Yeah, it's around there. I think he's never done it before, so he's gonna go slow. So he's gonna go over.
Yeah, he's a country music singer, so he's gonna have to get deep in his bag of vocals. So we can go the over on that too.
He wants his moment to shine. He's never done one. He's doing the Super Bowl. He's gonna soak it. Not rush it.
Matt, your
We
pick?
got a clean sweep for the. I was gonna say we got a clean sweep for the over.
Get that over,
I'm all
Chris.
in on that over.
All right, if you guys are taking the over, I'm going to make the sharp play here and take the under. So we'll see how that goes. I might lose that. Might not be good. Let's go into the next one. So the past 8 Super Bowls, the coin toss winner
this one.
lost the game. So what do you guys think the coin toss will be? Heads or tails? I usually go with tails never fails.
Heads was the last 2 years. Go with tails. whoever wins the coin toss is going to finally win the game. The streak is ending.
I like that.
I'm literally going to bet, I don't know, just a fun one on that specifically, but
Yeah, so
it's been 8 fucking years. Like, this shit's going to change.
I mean, it would, the probability of something that's 50-50 hitting 3 times in a row on one side is already low. So, I mean, I'm going to have to take tails on that, like, just from a math standpoint.
Well, I'm saying the other thing was the last 8 years. The winner of the toss has gone on to lose.
Who calls the Chiefs or the Eagles? Who gets to call it first?
It depends how the coin
Chiefs.
flips.
No, Chiefs, because the Eagles are the home team. They got to pick jersey color.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they had a better record.
So
yeah.
Chiefs get to pick.
I hope Jackson Mahomes flips the coin.
Jesus Christ. I don't want to see Jackson Mahomes at all.
They're actually trying to get the Kelsey's mom, Donna Kelsey, I believe, to flip the coin.
Okay, that is a great
That's
idea.
cool.
I love that.
That's cool.
That is the best way to do it.
That's a cool idea.
Didn't she bring like cookies or something to their like press? I don't
She
know.
did. One of their media days, she brought them cookies, and her
What a
half,
legendary
her half,
family. I fucking love
her
them.
half Travis and half Jason Kelsey jersey.
What a legendary
Imagine
family.
going to the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
she's a legend.
Imagine going to the Super Bowl and like both of your sons are in the Super Bowl and they're on opposite teams. That's pretty crazy.
And they're also the best tight end, arguably the best center
Yeah.
in the league. Like
they're the
it's
top
crazy.
of their positions, both on offense. I wonder what jersey is she wearing? She's gonna wear a
I think
jersey.
One of the like,
She's got the
combination.
half ones.
Yeah.
Oh, that should be a business idea.
I think there was a prop of both Kelsey brothers to score. Maybe Philly at the 1-yard line puts Jason up the gut there. I don't know. We'll see. They ran this Philly special last time they were in the Super Bowl, so maybe Jason. It's like plus some ridiculous odds that they both score. So I don't know.
If you can bet on player retirements, I would parlay, set some coins aside, have some fun with it. You could see they got a podcast now, like Nasty said on here last week. You could see them both retire right after the Super Bowl. I think Kelsey's retiring. I think Kelsey's definitely retiring. But if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I could see Kelsey saying, I have 2 Super Bowls. I'm only getting older. I have a successful media career after the Super Bowl. He might call it. That might sound crazy, but he might call it.
They're saying
Yeah,
about McVay
it's
last
gonna come down
year.
to
I
a
don't
coin
know.
flip.
We'll see.
Matt, so what'd you go with, Matt? Heads or tails?
I'll go with tails. Tails never fails.
Flip a coin.
Tails.
Tails,
Flip the
baby.
coin. Tails. All right, so next one, it's which team will score first, the Chiefs or the Eagles? I'm thinking the Eagles. I think they're always on top of it. They're always
All
gonna
season they have
punch
been
one
the
in or get a
first
field
quarter,
goal.
first half team. They put up points in the first quarter, first half. I think they'll come out strong.
What are the odds on that? Can you
I
get
don't
the
know.
affiliate plus money? Because that might be a bet I actually take. Because I really like Philadelphia to score. And I got an idea for the first touchdown scorer, too. So we're over here thinking. But I love Philadelphia to
Let's
score
see.
first. I like Philadelphia to score first and second.
I don't know. I can't find the odds for which team is going to score first here.
It's probably a little juiced in Philly's favor. Probably like minus 120.
Yeah, but I'll go ahead and find that. But in the meantime, so what are we thinking? We're thinking Chiefs or Philadelphia to score here first. I'm going to go with Philly.
Philly.
What are you guys feeling?
Philly, 100%.
Philly.
Yeah, I
Philly,
agree. I
absolutely.
agree.
Sirianni comes out swinging.
Yeah, I agree. The Chiefs are notorious low starters too in the playoffs, and not saying that the scene will get to them, but just Philly's just the way they've been playing in the first halves of games all season consistently. I think they'll come out hot.
One of the easiest bets you can make, nothing's a guarantee. Eagles first half money line. I would be shocked. And you could get a push on that and you live to fight another day. But I would be shocked if Kansas City's winning at halftime. I'm not making a prediction on the game. Philadelphia has been a great first half team.
You're not
season
giving
long.
Kansas City enough credit.
I don't know. I think
They played a hell of a good team in the Bengals. Like that's a good fucking football team right there.
That's going to be a pick we'll drop. If you're listening to this, you can get a free pick from me. Eagles money line, Eagles first half money line, Eagles first half -1 or whatever it's going to pick them, whatever the spread is. But Philadelphia first half, I like Philadelphia first quarter as well.
There you
A
go.
lot of hate on
Philadelphia
Kansas
first
City
half,
here.
Philly first quarter. Let's move on to the next one here. This one's a little bit of a fun one. We know Rihanna is doing the halftime show. So what's going to be the first song she comes out with? I see Umbrella, We Found Love, Where Have You Been, What's My Name? And again, there's other songs, but I think Don't Stop the Music might be the first one out of the gate.
Yeah, I like that one. Gonna be hype.
Absolutely.
Disturbia plus 3,000, book it. I'm telling you.
The more interesting
Disturbia.
prop is the guest
love that song.
of who she's going to bring out because it looks like there's some A-plus guests that are going to be on.
Who are the guests?
We don't know yet, but you can bet on it.
She's gonna have some A-listers.
Like
100%.
Drake is minus odds, Jay-Z is minus odds. I think Travis Scott is, and then
Travis Scott.
ASAP Rocky,
Oh
who
my
she's like dating or has a kids with, whatever, is like plus 200, which I kind of like him at plus 200 to come out.
Oh, I think he'll come out. If they
At
brought
plus 200, that's great. That's great odds.
I like Drake. I really like Drake to come out because they have some like work, like that song they have. I think I love that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
I
hope
think
Travis kills
Drake
it.
might come out, but I think ASAP Rocky might be the move there.
I think after looking at Travis Scott and what unfolded last year, I think maybe we put a pause on Travis Scott coming out for the Super Bowl. Maybe that's not such a good idea.
I like ASAP Rocky plus 200.
Yeah, getting ASAP Rocky, husband, baby daddy, whatever the situation
plus
is,
odds.
at plus money, can't say no to that.
Yeah.
Right, that all sounds good. Let's move on to the next one here. Let's get into the Gatorade color, or what color will the liquid poured on the winning head coach be? So we got the lime, green, and yellow. That's all kind of one. Clear or water, red or pink, blue, orange, or purple.
I think it's been blue the last 2 years.
It's gonna be orange.
I think they had. I forgot the two colors for. Let me look. I actually have this written down. The colors for the last two Super Bowls because they both won recently. So this will be helpful. Kansas City was orange, and
I love orange.
Eagles were yellow, and the last 2 years were blue. Yellow-green, I think, is the easiest one. I don't know. I'm going to go like purple at like plus 4,000 or 400, excuse me. I like a wild card here. I don't know. Mix it up finally.
Who fucking knows? We'll see when the liquid comes out. I'm not gonna be betting on that shit.
Yeah, that shit's harder than I'll be betting.
Oh, you don't have to bet on it, but make a pick right now.
Orange. I'm telling you, orange. Especially if KC wins. I liked orange. I don't know why. I just like orange. I think it.
Give me purple.
I like that purple.
Give me purple. That light purple coming down on Andy Reid or Nick Sirianni. I could see it.
Yeah.
All right. I might just go with clear here. Just the clear Gatorade, the frost.
Or just go with none.
Or that's also water, or none.
I'm going with Hennessy plus 10,000.
Yeah, I'll go with Hennessy. Sip on some of that brown. All right, so let's move along here. Those are just some fun exotic props we're looking at now, but let's get into some of these storylines here. We know it's going to be the Kelsey Bowl. Travis and Jason are going to be on the field. But we got right now the Eagles are favored by minus 1.5, and the over-under is set at 50.5 right now. There was a lot of movement last week considering, the injuries to the wide receivers on Kansas City, Mahomes' ankle, and then also the Eagles just looking dominant. So when you guys are looking at these lines moving right now, what's going through your head right now when you're looking to bet these games or the Super Bowl?
So I think you look at Circa, which is probably regarded as the sharpest sports book in Vegas. They open up at Kansas City minus 2.5, and they almost immediately flip it to Philly minus 2.5. So a lot of sharp dollars or big bets come in on Philadelphia very early. The biggest bet on the Super Bowl so far is on Philadelphia. And then, of course, the over. I think the over at a lot of books is actually 51 right now. I saw a really big bet come in on the over. But the line movement, I haven't seen a ton of huge bets on Kansas City yet. But I've seen a report there was $1 million clean put on Philadelphia at minus 125, the money line. And with Circa flipping the lines very quickly, I saw some stat that was like, if you look at the initial line movement in the Super Bowl, the team that it moves in favor of, like on the first 2 days, is typically the team that wins the Super Bowl, and so that would point you towards Philly.
You're saying initial leans for the line, Trace? That was the question.
Yeah, what are your leans when you're looking at those lines there?
Yeah, I think the line makes sense. Blake kind of hit the nail on the head with the movement we've seen here. I'm obviously big into the ref stats, so I've been looking into Mr. Carl Sheffers and his crew and the penalties and records with all of them. But yeah, I mean, if you like Kansas City based off of what we just said, that Philly's going to score first, they're going to win the first half is what the thought is, then take them live. There's no reason to take them pregame.
Yeah, I think with this game, you're not really picking the spreads here. The spread is not going to come into effect in this game. It probably closes at Philly -1 or KC -1. I don't think the spread comes into play at all in this game. You're really picking the winner of this game. Like when
Really, I mean, you are picking the winner. It's 1 point, unless
it's very, very unlikely.
people are going to tell me not to do margin of victory, and then they fucking could pick +1.5 on one of these teams.
Yeah, I don't get people laying the -130, -125 on Philly. Take the 1.5, pay $1.05, $1.10, depending on what book you're on. But yeah, you're really picking the winner. The spread doesn't really. I don't think the spread matters in the Super Bowl that much. I think you're really picking the winner.
So we're just going ahead and just picking winners here. We know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be returning to the Super Bowl. We don't know what his role will be in any capacity, but do you think he even touches the field? Do you even think he makes a difference? I mean, the lines don't even move with him coming back.
So he's not. In all seriousness, he's not important to the game plan. They have Pacheco, who's going to carry the ball. Chiefs don't run the ball anyway. Pacheco's going to be the one that carries the ball. Jerick McKinnon has kind of been their go-to playoff running back the last 2 years. You'll see him catch passes. You'll see him block. He's a great blocker, even though he's undersized. I don't think CEH even. I think he probably sees under 10 snaps in this entire game. The only way you see him on the field if he's injured. The big injury news is Snead, right? So L'Jarius Snead clears concussion protocol. Had he not played in this game, I think you hammer Philadelphia by 7. Like you take an alternative line, Philly -7. But Snead, their top corner, who's played in a lot of playoff games, is playing in this game, and that's huge because initially I loved A.J. Brown for an anytime touchdown, but now it's going to shift for me to Devontae Smith because you're going to have Snead covering A.J. Brown most of the Super Bowl, if not all of it. So them getting Snead back is huge. They're getting healthier. I believe Kadarius Toney's going to play, which is big for them. He's a playmaker. So it's good to see Philadelphia or Kansas City get a little bit healthier. And you might see Snead move the line. Like it might go to Philly -1 based off that. I'm not sure yet.
Well, it's not like Hurts.
Yeah, Blake, you said it best. It's going to really come down to who's going to win and then also staying healthy. But Simon, go ahead on your point. What were you going to say?
I mean, I just wanted to talk about Jalen Hurts. His passing yards, 121, 154, 229, 305, 217, 153. The guy's they're a running team. I don't think he's a good corner, but I don't think it's going to come down to that necessarily, although they do have great receivers. Also, Hurts has kind of looked hurt the first 2 playoff games that they had. I don't know what the extent of that injury is or if they're, even really sharing what the hell is going on, but he definitely did not look like himself the last 2 games.
Yeah, I don't like, especially if Philly wins. If Kansas City wins, you can almost book it that Patrick Mahomes is the MVP.
I'm kind of thinking Travis Kelce.
Maybe Kelce. You see him like the Julian Edelman year with the Patriots. Maybe
tight ends never won it.
Yeah, you could get Kelce or Chris Jones as a long shot, but with this stacked Philly team, it's going to be Mahomes pulling a lot of tricks out of the bag. So if the Chiefs win, it's almost certainly, in my opinion, going to be Mahomes. If the Eagles win, I don't think it's going to be Jalen Hurts. Like, you just read his stats. The game script doesn't favor him putting up a bunch of yards. If his stat line is 156 passing yards and 1 touchdown and
maybe it's like Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick is A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown is
I don't think they throw the ball enough to make him make a difference. The Chiefs will, if Kelce gets, like he did against Jacksonville, 12 catches, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards, like that man's winning the MVP.
Let's say if A.J. Brown gets 4 or 5 targets and he only catches 3 passes, there's a chance he's a big play receiver, so he can make a catch in a key moment, have a deep touchdown. I think those are the. I don't.
Jalen Hurts has thrown 2 touchdowns since December 11th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Hurts is gonna win the MVP if the Eagles win. I like Hassan Reddick. I love Hassan Reddick. I think Brandon.
You guys don't think?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you guys don't think Hurts could win it with his legs?
Yeah, he might get it with that. I could see him getting that. I think it's gonna be a wild card Maybe Miles Sanders has 125 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't know. Could be somebody on defense. Darius Slay gets a pick and a forced fumble or something. I don't know.
I like Hassan Reddick, and I like Brandon Graham as a guy. He's been in the league a long time. He got the strip sack on Brady.
Jason Kelsey just gets it.
Yeah, something like that. But the Super Bowl MVP for the Eagles is kind of a toss-up. They usually give it to the quarterback, but I mean, if Hurts' stats are not great and they really pound the football, I don't see how you give it to Jalen Hurts.
I mean, 3 of his last 4 games, the passer rating was 72, 65, and 64.6. Like, let's just, I'm going to go on a quick rant for a second about this team playing Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson, Daniel Jones, the Giants' third string, and the Bears their last couple games. All right, now they're playing a legitimate football team that just played a great Cincinnati team with a very solid defense in Cincinnati, by the way. With all of those injuries for the Chiefs, in my opinion, this game comes down to, is it going to be close? Yes, I will be taking winning margins. If it comes down to, do the Chiefs need a touchdown at the end of the game? Like, we know Mahomes can do it. I think it's going to be a close game. And yes, I think they're going to get down Kansas City, but I think they're going to come back. I want to take them. I hate the Eagles. I think the Eagles will barely win this. I honestly think this game, Matt, will go to overtime, which I've been betting on. But, like, we should not just rule out the Chiefs here. Coaching and the quarterback, when we get to the end of the game and it's a close game, the first 3 quarters are irrelevant. Like, we saw Mahomes on a shit leg fucking run for that first down, and yeah, they got the flag, and it was, the appropriate flag call. But there's an experience factor here with the coach and the quarterback that I don't think people are taking into account at all.
See, my little sharp analysis of the game, I don't think that Mahomes and Andy, like, the big thing for Kansas City is that they have the edge at the 2 most important positions, head coach and quarterback. The Eagles can't control who they play in the playoffs. They've beat the wheels off everyone they've played all year long. I don't think that it's a huge coaching mismatch. I think Sirianni has elevated himself to be a top 10 coach in the NFL this year. I don't think it's that big of an edge. And then with Mahomes' ankle,
this ain't at Lincoln Financial Field.
With Mahomes' ankle, he starts the game at 90%. What happens when he gets blindsided by Hassan Reddick? What's his ankle percentage in the third quarter when he's been destroyed? Because I'm telling you, this Eagles pass rush is coming. Like, they have probably the best defensive line I ever
assembled. The line is not the problem with them.
The Chiefs have a solid offensive line, but Orlando Brown is not going to hold up against a guy like Hassan Reddick. That ain't going to happen. I don't think Mahomes is going to have. Mahomes already isn't going to have time to attack the perimeter because of the pass rush. They don't have any weapons on the outside. Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Tony are cool. They're not.
Juju playing?
I think Juju's playing. From what I've read, Juju's playing. But he's not a difference maker, in my opinion. He's a big-bodied slot guy. He's going to go to Kelsey a lot. And I think the Eagles have much better linebackers than the Bengals do. They match up against Kelsey. They're not going to let Travis Kelsey go off for, he's not going to have 12, 13 catches in this game. I would be shocked. They're going to blanket him. And then it's who does Mahomes go to? Mahomes if Kelsey's not open in the middle of the field, those first 3-5 seconds of his read, who's he going to? Because they have Darius Slay, Bradbury. I mean, they have elite corners on the outside. Those, whatever crappy perimeter threat that Kansas City has, they're getting shut down by those corners. Those are elite corners. Darius Slay is like legit.
Yeah, except when Mahomes is scrambling and making plays that they haven't seen a quarterback make in I don't even know how long. If you look at how they played this, I know you play who's on your schedule, but there's only so much you could practice for a guy like Mahomes. The Chiefs are coming off of playing Joe Burrow, and they did play well defensively in that game. Like, I mean, Chase and Higgins had Higgins had that unreal catch. Chase had another unreal catch on 4th down. They're playing with rookie corners on the back end, which I am concerned about in this game. But, I mean, do you think the game's going to be close?
Of course. But
okay, then what's going to happen at the end of the game? Is Sirianni going to be able to outcoach Reed?
Yes. I don't think that. I mean, we've seen Andy Reid. Andy Reid's play calling in this playoff run has not been great. They cannot run the ball. I said this before.
Correct.
This is not a good matchup for Kansas City. This is a good matchup for Cincinnati.
Cincinnati was not a good matchup for them either. We've seen that.
But Cincinnati has the ability to attack the perimeter against Philadelphia. Kansas City does not have the ability to do that. And so if they go down early, the same thing with the Niners-Eagles. If they go down early, Yes, the Chiefs have the ability to play from behind a little bit differently than the 49ers. But the way the Eagles play football, they were going to run the ball, run the clock. I don't think the Chiefs can stop the Eagles' run defense, and I don't think the Chiefs can run the ball. And if you look at the last 10 Super Bowls,
they're not going to run the ball.
Historically, the better defensive team usually wins. We saw the Bucs destroy Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
That was with no line.
We saw the Patriots suffocate the Rams' offense when the Patriots won. When Stephon Gilmore was there. I mean, we saw the Broncos destroy the Panthers because of how good their defense was. This defense is on par with those defenses. That's how good of a defense it is. It is really that good. No one's talking about Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick was the best. This is going to sound crazy. He was maybe the best pass rusher in the entire NFL this year. That's how good they are. They're that good on defense.
They're that good against what their schedule was. If they're not playing out Herbert and Burrow out here, like guys like that.
I get that, but that doesn't change the talent disparity. Like they're still like
they're the more talented team, but they're out-coached and out-quarterbacked by a significant margin.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, or second best.
Mahomes is the best easily, but Hurts is.
And Andy Reid is an all-time great.
Hurts has been a top 5 quarterback this year. That's undisputed. He's been a top 5 quarterback this year.
This year, and they've also played 2 games at Lincoln Financial Field. He's never played in a Super Bowl before. There's got to be some jitters with this team, along with the coaching.
You know how first-time quarterbacks in the Super Bowl perform historically?
No,
they win a lot.
What's the percentage?
It was 5-3
Who's
ATS.
the coach?
Sirianni's a good coach.
Is he better than Doug Peterson? Because Nick Foles started, but I don't think he's better than Doug Peterson.
Schematically, he's one of the best. He's up there with McVay right now schematically. I mean, his run schemes are the way they're running the football. And are we not talking about the Eagles' offensive line that's easily the best? I mean, how am I supposed to pick against a team that has the better offensive line and the better defensive line?
That is fair. I'll give you that.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
But again, you're saying the game's going to be close, so what is it going to come down to?
I think it comes down to Philly leads. I think Philly leads most of the game, if not the entire game. You're going to see the Chiefs make it close, and I think you're going to see them fall short. They're going to be down 10 with about 6-7 minutes left. They're going to go down the field and get the field goal, and then they're going to need a touchdown. They're going to get the stop on Philly, and you're going to see Mahomes try to work his magic to tie the game and go to overtime, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I don't think he has. We've seen from the Chiefs all year long, they do not have the ability to go vertical. Without Tyreek Hill, they do not have the ability to go vertical. They really rely a lot on these crossing routes with Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyreek Hill, or Travis Kelce, and then they'll hit you deep every once in a while with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They don't have the ability to score in 4 or 5 plays anymore like they did last year when they played Buffalo and what was a shootout. They don't have the ability to do that this year, especially not against this Eagles defense. I don't see it.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Also, we got Andy Reid on 2. He's a very good coach off of the bye. And the last Super Bowl, let's give Kansas City some slack. Their O-line was in shambles during that time. That was a ridiculous situation.
It's improved. I mean,
that was bad.
They have one of the best. Creed Humphrey.
Not saying they would have won that game, but
Trey Smith. They have a good offensive line this year, but they're not able to take advantage of the offensive line. I mean,
whereas Philly struggled this year in their losses, not when Gardner started, obviously, but when Hurts has played.
I mean, from what I've seen, it's been their offense hasn't struggled all year long. It's been the defense. The defense has gotten beat by the Cowboys over the top. The Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs have the ability to do that. They don't have the. I mean, if Philly sends 6-7, you're already leaving 5, 6, 7 in protection alone just to stop that. Name one Chiefs receiver that you like to go beat Darius Slay or James Bradbury over the top?
They only got to make one play, I think, over the top in this game.
I don't know, man.
How many plays did they get over the top last week against Cincinnati?
I think if I could lay this out for you, and I took Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and I took them away, and I didn't tell you, I just showed you the teams and I didn't show you the players.
But that's a big difference.
It is, but if I showed you these teams and I said this quarterback is elite and considered one of the best in the NFL, he's banged up. The offensive line.
He's not really that banged up.
He was limping against Cincinnati. He was limping. And that was against a Cincinnati pass rush.
Receiver, I mean, they were starting, I don't even know who at the end there.
Yeah, that's my point.
Well, look at what happened with coaching in that game. They punt to the middle of the field to Sky Moore, and he gets 24 yards. That's a coach. I don't think Sirianni's like...
Sirianni's going to go for it. See around. You're going to see some crazy shit in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and if they get a 4th and 1, they will likely get it based off of their team. But I'm saying a little mistake at the end of the game, I think, could be the difference here. And Andy Reid's been there. And this is not a home game at Lincoln Financial Field. It's a big difference playing in a neutral site.
The inability for Kansas City to run the ball is going to bite them in the ass in this game. They need to run the ball. If I can blindly guarantee you this right now. If Patrick Mahomes throws the ball 50 times in this game, they will lose the game. 100%. Book that. If you see Patrick Mahomes' attempts on ESPN, ESPN app, and his attempts hit over 50, go take Philadelphia. There's no way this guy's dropping back 50 times again with his ankle against this defense winning this game. You're going to see, I mean, that literally plays into the hand of what Philadelphia wants Kansas City to throw the ball.
How many attempts did he have in his playoff game?
Against Cincinnati?
I'm trying to see.
Probably in the 40s, I would think.
I would think they didn't really run the ball. But they also kind of use Pacheco as, those little throws there. But, I mean, yeah, let me see. Cincinnati, this year he had 43 attempts. Last year he had 39.
And they barely won that game. They got bailed out in that game. We all agree they got bailed in that game. The refs have the Chiefs shouldn't even be here. As crazy as
come on.
No, they shouldn't.
A load of bullshit.
They should not be here. Cincinnati outplayed them. Cincinnati lost that game because of the referees.
Don't punt the ball to the middle of the field.
That was dumb, but I don't even think Kansas City should be here. I think we all universally.
Kansas City had a bunch. Their quarterback was injured, and they had receivers injured.
And that just makes me want to take Philadelphia more.
What the hell was the Bengals even? They're not going to be injured after 2 weeks.
You'd be surprised.
Well, fellas, we could talk about this all day here, just going back and forth. It's going to be a really contentious Super Bowl. And as you guys explained, there's a lot of factors going on.
Listen,
all the way from the trenches to the secondary.
Where do you stand on the over in this game? Because the over,
I stand on the under. The public's gonna hammer the over.
I know, but it just seems like I like the under as well. That's the sharp play, technically. The public.
I mean, you've been talking about the Eagles' defense, and you're right about the defense.
The problem is I really don't know. I like the under. I do like the under. Sheffers is an under ref.
Yeah, big under.
He's
like
an
11
under
and 1 or something.
Most Super Bowls go under. That might be the play we agree on here. Is the under.
I mean, to be honest with you, what I like, and it's obscure, but FanDuel offers it, the 1-10 winning both sides at like plus, or at least like taking the Eagles pregame and then taking the Chiefs live. I've been saying it for a while, but if this game ends over 10 fucking points, like NFL, do a better job. I think they'll throw flags and try to keep this game close. And also Mahomes is the type of guy, I agree. I don't think Kansas City will get off to a huge lead at any point over the Eagles. So if they're down if they're down 14 towards the end there, I think they get it back within 10. I mean, I said that before, but this is Super Bowl. They want to keep it close. The games have been shit other than the Cincinnati Chiefs game.
One of the worst playoffs
Terrible.
I've seen.
After last year was phenomenal.
It's going to be a close game. I think it ends within 6.
I think it ends with
Fellas, I got a question for both Blay and Swice here as we try to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
But my final question to both of you, all right, who's your pick for the Super Bowl, and what do you think the final score would be?
Can we give that out?
I mean, I'm going to give my lean.
We'll give our leans. I don't know if we can give our
Yeah, give your lean, not official picks, just a lean here.
I think you know where I'm going with this.
Lean and add a final score to it.
I'm leaning Philadelphia, and I'm leaning 27-21. Maybe 27-24, but I'm leaning Philly. 51 for that over-under is a key number. 27-24 is a pretty common final score in the NFL. So I'm gonna go 27-24 Philadelphia. That's my initial, if I just had a gun to my head and I have to make a lean, 27-24 Philadelphia.
I'm gonna go Philadelphia 24, Kansas City 21, and the game goes to overtime.
I think if you want to make an interesting, what about first touchdown scores? We can talk about that for a second. I got a good one. I love it.
Go ahead.
We like Philadelphia.
Let's hop into it. Travis Kelce's at plus 650. Jalen Hurts at plus 800. Miles Sanders plus 850. A.J. Brown plus 900. Pacheco at plus 1,000. And the list goes on. What's this gem you're talking about here, Black?
Read 2 more names. He'll come up.
Devontae Smith plus 1,100.
Nope.
Dallas Goedert plus 1,200.
Jesus
Goedert. The tight ends have been – these guys know I've been hot in the playoffs on these first touchdowns. I had Kelce 2 weeks in a row. I had Dalton Schultz. The tight ends have been good to me. They've been good to me. When was the last time Dallas Goedert scored a touchdown? I love Dallas
He
Goedert.
got one this playoffs.
Has he got one?
He had a
the
first
Giants.
touchdown score this playoffs.
Oh, really?
Against the Giants.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love Dallas Goedert because I think they could get him the ball. Even if it's like 3rd and goal, I think you could see some kind of weird play from Sirianni.
Yeah.
I like Miles Sanders.
I like Sanders.
Yeah, if you're gonna lay like over 2 or 3, if you're gonna lay like a real unit on this, you go Miles Sanders because it's very possible that he scores the first touchdown. Chiefs aren't great against the run. Miles Sanders has been killing it. Love Miles Sanders to score that first touchdown. But if you want to have some fun, put it on Dallas Goedert. I love Dallas Goedert first touchdown. I love it. I'll be putting half a unit on that at plus 1,200, and we might cash that bad boy for about 6 units right there.
Woo. All right, so let's wrap up the show here, fellas. Matt, do you have a final score and a pick going into the Super Bowl?
I'm obviously leaning Eagles. Leaning Eagles, and I like 27-23 Eagles.
Nice.
That.
I think I'm going to go 31-28 Eagles in this game. Again, we're all leaning Eagles here, but again, follow us on our socials. Keep an eye on what we're doing. The leans might change. The lines might change. You never know what might happen, but you should join our Telegram. The link will be in the description. And again, this covers episode 5 of the Make Vegas Pay podcast. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoyed this and want more, subscribe to our YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter with the Make Vegas Pay handle. Thanks for listening. And fellas, thank you so much for this great Super Bowl preview.
Enjoy the game, everyone.
Free Justin Herbert. Peace.
Michael Bandy.